And with all of that introductory stuff being said, Abigail is going to take over here with Make Code. So Abigail, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, can you give me share? Oh, there's share screen.
Okay, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I am going to present to you guys Microsoft Make Code arcade game. And when we were little at home, we were used to play arcade games like Atari, Nintendo, and we used to create all these beautiful games. Well, we have found this program, and I went to ITZY, and we found this program. It creates arcade games. The standards I'm going to cover for you for computer science are 3.5 AP12, which is create a program that has events, loops, and conditionals. Also 3.5 AP11, which is create a program that uses variables to store and modify data. For 6 through 8, the standard I'm going to cover is create clear named variables that store data and perform operations on their contents. 6.8 AP12, which is design and iterate, develop programs that combine control structures and use compound conditionals. So those are the two different standards we're going to cover for grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8. So you guys are all going, okay, so what's an arcade game? So most of us are used to a handheld device that has keys A and B, and then you have the up and down arrow. Well, in the arcade game we're going to create, that you guys are going to create, we're going to learn how to create a game that we used to play when we were kids. But before we do this, we're going to watch a short video of how Microsoft Make Code Arcade works, and then we're going to log in. Everybody's going to log in with their Google account. So let's watch a short video that shows us a couple of tips of how to add a sprite, how to add a background, and how to animate this so we can have some fun this afternoon.
I'm going to show you how to get started with Microsoft Make Code Arcade. When you first land on our homepage at arcade.makecode.com, this is what you'll see. At the top, we have a banner that scrolls through all of the new and important features that we have available for you. Next, you'll see the My Projects row. This one's a little empty because I'm on a private browser. Below that, we have a couple rows of skill maps, a couple rows of tutorials, and a whole bunch of other goodies and opportunities that you can browse through. For today, we'll focus on these. It's possible that when you first arrive, you'll want to create your own project. That's great. Just click New Project and give it a name. Your project will load in a window that looks a lot like this. Over here, you'll see a game window. The game window is what will display the results of the code you write. Then you have the toolbox. The toolbox is what holds the blocks that you'll be coding with. For example, if I wanted to change the color of my background, I could grab a block and drop it in here. Very purple. This is the workspace. It's where you'll bring the blocks to connect them together to make your code. If you're a little more advanced, you can click JavaScript and do some coding in our text editor. When you're done with your changes, you can test them out here or switch back to blocks. Easy peasy. JavaScript isn't your thing? That's fine. You can use Python. Next, you'll see an Assets tab. If you were playing with art or music, this is where all of that would show up. I haven't done any of that yet, so I'll click the green plus to add something new. You can make an image for a sprite, a tile for a tile map, a whole tile map for a level, animations, or songs. Let's make some music. Here, you'll see we have a music staff and a lot of icons that represent different instruments. I'm going to use the fish. A little playing around will show you this is a lot like writing music for the piano. Lovely. You have your instruments up here, an eraser, a grid in case you want your notes to be shorter or longer, stop, play, loop. You can make your tempo faster or slower. Show bass clef gives you more space to play and a wider range. Undo, redo, and you can change your number of measures. Perfect. Now I have a song. I'm going to go ahead and make some art also. Here, our image editor will open, and I'm going to grab one of our fish icons. And I'm going to change it using a super secret technique. I'll right-click on orange and left-click on yellow, and then when I hit Shift-R, it will replace the color I had in the background with the color I have in the foreground. Lovely. Now I have a sprite that's ready to use. Presto! When I'm done with my project, I can come down here and download it to a physical console, save it to my computer, add it to my GitHub repo, or I can share it. There. Now it's ready to send to a friend. If I want this project to be saved to the cloud as I go, I can sign in using a Microsoft account or Google. Now let's head back to the homepage and see what else we can do. The biggest difference between a skill map and a tutorial is that a skill map is made up of many different tutorials. Let's take a look at Burst in Balloons. Here you'll see 4 different tutorials that build upon each other to make one epic multiplayer game. To start, you can click the highlighted level and the start button, or you can just double-click the first level. Normally, a pop-up window will show you what you're about to do, and then you'll see instructions on the side. Your game window has moved down to the lower right corner, so you can still see it as you code. Now you have all of these instructions that you can follow to learn how to make something new. Here, we can navigate with the bubbles, we can navigate with the arrows, or we can use the next button when we're ready to go on to the next instruction. You can click the highlighted text to open the category that you'll need to pull a block out of, or click these arrows to get a clue. There's hints down at the bottom if you want to know what you were supposed to have done during this step. Follow the instructions as you go, and when you get to the end, click Done. You'll be brought back out to the main skill map where you can sign in. You don't need to sign in, but if you do, we'll save your progress and you'll get a badge at the end. Now you're free to move through the rest of the skill map. When you make it through the final level, you'll come out and get a reward, a certificate, whether you're logged in or not, or a badge if you are. At this point, you can click back on the last level you did and share it with a friend, or mod it by clicking Save to My Projects. Now you're back in the main project window and you can add any sort of block you want. Don't see the block you're looking for? Click Extensions, and that will take you to our extension library, where you can add extra functionality. When you're done, share your game to a kiosk. It's as easy as clicking this button and adding the 6-digit code of the kiosk that you're playing on. And there it is. It's as easy as that to share your creativity using Microsoft MakeCode Arcade.
Okay, so what we're going to do this afternoon is we are going to do one of the tutorials first. I'm going to give you, so what I'm going to recommend, I put the code in the website is on the question and A where it says HTTP Arcade Mate. I'm going to have everybody log in. You're going to log in with your Google account. When you log in with your Google account, this will save your project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my screen right here. So it's the sign in button. You're going to click sign in, and then you're going to sign in with Google. And then I'm going to let you guys select any of the tutorials right here. So that way you get an idea of how this program works without having to figure out, okay, which block do I pull first? So I'm going to give you guys, first thing I want you guys to do is I'm giving you guys 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. I want you guys all to log in. The website is in the question and A. Please log in with Google for me. That way it saves your project. And I would like for each of you to select a tutorial, whichever tutorial you say, oh, this is something interesting I would like to do. Go ahead and click on it. And then I want you to play with the different blocks. Think of it as the blocks are in the middle, and you're going to take the blocks and you're going to put them on the right-hand side. So select any of the tutorials. And does anybody have any questions before I set the timer? Okay, nobody has any questions? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set your timer at 5 minutes. I'm going to let you play with one of the tutorials. And remember, you can do a couple of levels. You don't have to do the whole thing. But I want you to try it and see, you know, think of it when you used to be a kid and you used to play with the arcade and the remote controller was in your hands. You had button A and button B, and that's what we're going to play with today. So your timer's set. Good luck. You guys have 5 minutes.
Abigail, do you have a timer on screen you want to share with them?
I do have a timer in my presentation. So let me get my timer on my presentation. So here we go. Let me get the timer.
Perfect. And you'll have to share your screen again because I stopped sharing my screen.
Okay, let me share my screen and let me get my timer. Okay, now that everybody's had a little bit of time to play with it, that's how we use it in computer science. But this year we've started incorporating ELA standards where we do a retell. And so in my class, we've done the story of Mañana Iguana, which is it's kind of like the red little hen story about how this the red little hen asked everybody for help, and then everybody always keeps saying no. So we do the retell first, and then we log in back into the arcade game, and we actually create a retell. Before we log in, we talk about what's the setting, what's the characters, what was the problem in our story, and how did our little character solve the problem in our story. So today, what I'm going to have you guys do is we're going to actually create a new project. So you guys are logged in with your Google accounts. So I'm going to have everybody hit the plus sign, and we're going to create a new project. So this is going to be a brand new project. And when you log in with your new project, you have no blocks. So the first thing you're going to do is you guys are going to go to a scene. You're going to create your scene as your background. So think of it, your beautiful background. Do you want it to be the woods? Do you want it to be a specific color? So that one is the one with the tree. And then you're going to collect, you need some sprites. Your sprites are your little characters that are going to bounce around in your game. And so you're going to need a couple of sprites. In Mañana Iguana, we had iguana, we had the lizard, we had the snake, and then we had, there was one more character. We had a coyote in it. So we had 4 different characters. So you're going to have 4 different sprites. And then I'm going to let you play with the controllers. You're going to need button A and button B. And then the rest of it, I'm going to let you go ahead and give you another 5 minutes. So we're starting from scratch. So this has, the only block you have is the button that says on when you click on start. So I just want you to remember, you're going to need 4 sprites. You're going to need whatever background you want for your background for your party. Controller, you're going to need button A, and you're going to need a button B. If you want to play with the music, you have the music button right here. You can select music, and you can add music. Or if you want to create your own music, you can create your own music. So before I let you create your own project, does anybody have a question? Okay, so you need 4 sprites, controller A, controller B, 1 beautiful background, and any music you want to create. If you want to create your own music or you want to add their own music. So I'm going to set your timer. If nobody has any questions, please click the button to hit create, and let me set your timer for you. Okay, so everybody has had a chance to create something, and after creating, after the way we've been using it in my class, I've been thinking about, for a general ed teacher, how can you incorporate maker space arcade games into your classroom? And I was thinking about, you could use it in history to retell an event, a certain event, like in the Civil War, or you could use it in if you want your students in language arts in the high school level or junior high, you want them to retell you a story, and you wanted to do it in a creative way where students would have a creative outlet. That is another way you could do character setting, problem solution, and have the kids represent what they've learned in the story in a different way. What I would like you guys to do, because with Makerspace Arcade, it lets you share with other people, your game. Is if anyone would like to share what they what they created, you can drop the link in the question and answer, so we can see some of your ideas, and then maybe take some of those ideas back into our classrooms, so that way everybody learns and gets a new idea that would help all of us. Does anybody have any questions about how we use it? Because this is a program that it's very flexible. It's not something you can just use in the computer lab. It is something that can be applied to the general ed classrooms, and just using using an ELA standard or a social studies standards, you can incorporate it into a regular classroom. And Alexandra, that's all I have for you today.
All right, awesome. I bet people didn't think they were going to be making a video game today.
No, I don't think they thought they were going to play today.
I know I had a lot of fun. Trying to, let me see if I can unpin my Teams control here. But I had a lot of fun. Where's my, I can't unpin my little control thing. If I can get it unpinned and figured out, I'll show you guys the little game that I played. I was not so good about figuring out how to get him to move, but I got a cute little background set up and some sprites in there. So pretty proud of myself for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes of work.